Hello. I was supposed to have roofers here all day today. They are noisy and the dogs go nuts. But it's almost 11 and they haven't shown up, so I'm going to go ahead and try to do a video. I've made spaghetti before, but it was a different spaghetti that I don't normally do. This one's also going to be a different one I don't normally do, but I wanted to share it with you. I'm going to try doing it in the slow cooker and see how that works. So I have all of these appliances and I use them, I don't use them. I like things to be easy. And with the slow cooker, a lot of times you have to pre-cook some things, which is what I'm going to have to do. I'm sorry about the dogs. They're very on edge because they think the roofers are coming, but they're not. Anyway, so I'm going to show you a couple of quick things that I do to help me out. My biggest thing is I'm usually tired and I'm usually sick. And so I have to make cooking that we love be as easy as possible. So I'm going to show you a few hints that I do, and I'm going to test out some of my new equipment. So this may be a very rough video. We'll see. But I hope you enjoy, and I'll try to do less talking and more showing. Okay. See you soon. Well, as it turns out, the roofers are here. So we are going to have a lot of barking. So I'm just going to quickly show you. One of the things I've learned is you want good ingredients, but if you do your testing, you can find out which inexpensive ingredients can work for you. One of the things I used to love was the squeeze tube of tomato paste because it was really easy to use. Also very expensive. I found out if you buy a cheap can of tomato paste from Walmart for 80 cents, you can freeze it separately by simply taking an ice cream scoop and putting your 2 tablespoons onto some freezer paper or wax paper, freeze them solid, and then just save them, and you can pull out a little blob whenever you need it. So that's just a little trick. If you've got the time in a Sunday morning for 5 minutes, create a little sheet of tomato paste and you can use it for a couple months. It stays in the freezer really well. And if you freeze them really solid, they won't stick together. Here are all the ingredients. Oh, it's very noisy. Here are all the ingredients I'm going to be using for my spaghetti. This is the veggies that I was afraid were going to go bad and I froze a couple days ago. I'm going to chop up some more mushrooms to go in because it's a little short on mushrooms. I've gotten out all my Italian seasonings, so be prepared. It's about a teaspoon of each. I have ground oregano, rubbed sage, thyme leaves, tarragon, bay leaves, very small bay leaves, onion powder, garlic powder, some Italian seasoning, and fresh basil that I do grow in my little window because I do love fresh basil. Then I found that the Great Value Italian diced tomatoes are actually pretty good. I've compared them with national brands and they're just as good. And same with these pasta sauces. They are like $2 a can and very inexpensive and yet very high quality. They're less expensive than what's in the jar. So if you need to save some money, it's a good way to do it and you still have a real quality product. And then the ground turkey, which is also a bargain brand, but I found that this is really good. It's been in my freezer a while, so I thawed it out yesterday. So I'll be browning this with the vegetables, the seasoning, and the meat, and then throwing it all into the slow cooker. So I will put all that into the fry pan and show it all to you. Alrighty. Wow, let's see how this goes. This is my first time using my new microphone and my new camera stand. So I'm going to just show you real quickly some of the chopping I'm going to do. One of the best ways you can chop up leaves, these are my basil leaves, is simply to put them all together like this. Throw them all together any way you can. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to tell you, I also forgot to tell you that I do put frozen spinach in my spaghetti sauce as well, because I like to sneak in vegetables anywhere I can. So here's a couple more little ones. And I didn't grab a knife. I got one right here. And pull off some of the stems. And then you can roll them, or you can just chop them. I find it easier just to chop them. But if you do it all at once, you could break it up if you want with your fingers, but I like to just chop real quick as long as I'm chopping. So that, real quick, basil done in 30 seconds. So Meijer had really nice mushrooms on sale this week. So nice big ones. So I'm just going to chop them and leave them big. I like big mushrooms. not everybody likes mushrooms, but we love them here, so I'll just leave them big. Whoops, I wiped them off. But and this will just add to what I froze chopped the other day that are still raw. They need to be cooked. And this will just give me what I need to add to my sauce. So I'm just going to chop these real quickly. And then I'm going to take all my raw ingredients and my meat. I'm going to measure out all my spices and throw them all into a fry pan and brown them up so I can put everything into the crock pot, and my sauce will be done by dinner time. It is 11 o'clock now, and if we eat at 5 or 6, the sauce should be ready. I've never made spaghetti sauce in the crock pot, so this will be a bit of an experiment. You get to learn when I learn, and I keep forgetting to do this. So here's my little remote. Bye. I'll see you when the fry pan's out. Wow. So I am all ready to start cooking. I have my slow cooker all ready to go. I have all my stuff for the fry pan, my frozen frozen tomato paste ready to go. So I'm going to start putting things into the pan. Just the vegetables and the meat will go into the pan. I'll get them browned. Then everything else goes in the slow cooker. So let's get started. I have my pan warming up. We're going to pour in some olive oil. I have a little bit left in this, not a lot, but it might be just enough. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. Let it continue to heat up. Yeah, it's doing really well. So I'm going to start with my turkey, and we'll get that broken up. So let's get that going. Once it's broken up, I'll add the onions. I'm not using my stand right now because I don't have room to do it, and I'm still learning. So, but hopefully you can hear me better even with the TV in the background and the roofers banging on the roof. And if the dogs start barking, hopefully you'll be able to hear everything because I have the microphone. So it's all a big experiment today. We'll see. Okay, so getting the meat browning. I want it to have lots of flavor, so I'm going to throw in all my spices. I took all the spices I showed you and put them in a pan here. The only thing I added was a little black pepper. So I'm going to throw that in with my meat because the flavor will be much better if you put the spices in early. And you just want to break your meat up really small. So I'm going to keep stirring and I will get back to you. Okay, while this is simmering and breaking up, I'm going to add a teaspoon of sugar because that's going to neutralize any of the acidity from the tomatoes. So there goes a teaspoon of sugar going in. It's not really to sweeten it or anything, just basically to make sure the acidity of the tomato is lowered. And then I'm also going to throw in some jarred garlic because I really like the flavor of that. And it adds, I think, more than the garlic powder. So good fresh garlic is best if you can get it, but I don't have that right now. So we're just going to use the jarred garlic. And that was about a tablespoon going in. So I'm just going to continue stirring this. You can see my tomato paste is starting to melt. I'm going to put in about a quarter cup of red wine just because I like that in my spaghetti sauce as well. Don't see any reason to change it just because it's going into the slow cooker. This is looking pretty good. It'll be ready to dump in the slow cooker any second. All right, and then is there anything else? I think that's it. My wine is going in. It's going to simmer here for 5 minutes, and then I'll show you my crock. So here's my crock pot full of goodness. It's really full. I do make a lot of spaghetti sauce when I make it. So I've set my crock pot for 2 hours. I've set my crock pot to high. I've set Alexa for 2 hours. We'll come back and check this out in 2 hours. I won't put the spinach in until right toward the end. I like to thaw it and squeeze the juice out of it before I put it in. And I'm about to get my tomato balls out of the freezer and wrap them up and put them away. So I don't have anything to do until 5 o'clock, and it is now 12:44. So I guess I'll go listen to the roofers make lots and lots of noise, and the dogs bark lots and lots of times. All right, have a good Sunday, and I'll be back with you soon. Well, as I've already told some of you on Facebook, um, don't make spaghetti sauce in a crock pot. It takes too long. It's so much easier on the stovetop, but it came out great. You can see how thick it is. It's delicious. We're going to have it tonight for dinner. I'm going to throw some frozen spinach in it just to mix it up. But I had to let it sit for several hours without the top on it so it would finish cooking. And it actually went in the freezer last night. I mean, in the refrigerator last night because it wasn't done cooking and I had to cook it again all day today. So I'm going to whip up some pasta and some broccoli and plate it up. But you have the basic ingredients for the sauce. Just don't cook it in your slow cooker. Um, it, it's a kind of a waste of time. It's easier if you're going to be home. The slow cooker is for when you're away from home and you just don't want to worry about it. So um, hope you guys had a great weekend and you enjoyed your time with your family. And we're going to go eat. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye.